the next introduction of the last volunteer from the Midwest who I haven't introduced, I want to give a little bit longer introduction and tell you what she's going to say tonight, because she is our quote-unquote keynote speaker, if you will. This volunteer, Erin Halligan, is serving at a ministry that is called Sarah's Inn. It's located here in Oak Park, but it serves the entire west side of Chicago, including the suburbs. I asked them how many open cases they had. They go thousands. And it's a domestic violence agency. They had the first 24-hour crisis line in the area if you are a victim and hopefully then a survivor of domestic violence that you can call. Erin is also bilingual, and she has taken shifts on the crisis line and asked others to do so. They have legal advocacy. If you are 99% are women, so if you're a woman who has undergone this terrible act, then you can get legal advocacy to help you understand how to get an order of protection so that you and if your children are at risk too, you can get out of the violent environment and get safety. And so they have legal advocates, and then they also have group counseling, empowerment sessions, and Erin actually, when I went to the site visit a few months ago, was leading one on her own, and she was shaking in fear a little bit, and then I said, you just have to ask the questions, you have to give the answers, but she did an amazing job, and now she co-facilitates it for the rest of this year. What Erin is going to share with us tonight, and I hope you'll give her a big round of applause when she starts, I know you will. The volunteers have an orientation at a mother house of sisters or friars, although it's not mother house, it's friars, of course. Then they have a mid-year retreat and a closing retreat. The mid-year retreat is an experience where we ask them to do an activity. We ask them to write a letter to their self, themselves, but to their pre-volunteer self 6 months ago, to say, this is what you got yourself into. These are the blessings, these are the challenges, this is what to expect. We also tell them that it's their time to preach. Many of us who are laity in the Catholic Church, we use the phrase that we preach through the pulpit of our lives. Well, we can change that tonight, and we can actually give Erin a pulpit, and we can listen to her words. And they are quite powerful. And she shared this with the other volunteers at mid-year retreat, and we were so moved that we asked her to share it tonight if she would. So that's what Erin is going to do. She's going to share the letter she wrote to Erin 6 months ago about what to expect during her volunteer year. So if you would welcome her with a round of applause. Erin Halligan.
So, hi everyone. As Mike said, my name is Erin, and I've been serving at Oak Park for the past 8 months or so. I just wanted to thank you all for coming tonight to support us so that this tradition of serving others and living in communities focused on the Dominican values can continue. So as he said, I'll be reading a letter to my former volunteer self, and I'm just hoping that in sharing mine with you, I can give you a feel for all of the mistaken assumptions I had coming into this year, as well as the many blessings and challenges I've experienced thus far. So here goes. Dear former Erin, right now, you think that you're going to casually take a gap year and then go on to grad school somewhere. You think that because you're in Chicago, you're going to spend all your time with your college friends from Notre Dame. And by the way, yeah, that was us on the formals. You're welcome. You think that you've seen it all because you went to Central America one time. And you think you know what domestic violence is because you spent one summer playing in the pool with a bunch of kids at a shelter. I hate to spoil things for you, but you've got a lot to learn. Unfortunately, none of that knowledge comes from GRE books because you hardly bother to open them. Remember Mass? Vaguely? Well, guess what? You can't hide from it forever. And you'll find that you actually go voluntarily. Don't believe me? Yeah, well, you'll find that the right church community reminds you that Mass is actually a celebration and can be, gasp, kind of fun. And sure, you've lived with vowed religious before, or at least on the same premises. But it's going to be different living in the same house as them. You can't shut your bedroom door anytime you have a bad day and don't want to talk to anyone. Community is going to be a big-time responsibility and an opportunity to really get to know some sisters and all their gifts and quirks. Mostly, you'll learn people don't lose their human nature just because they're vowed religious. They may swear at technology. They might lose their temper, and they might have some small political opinions. So no, they're not going to be just like your super conservative grandmother because they like daily mass. When you ask them when they ask you how your day has gone, they really care about your response. Their experience will help to guide you through the challenges that you face in faith and ministry. When you think you've asked every doubtful question in the book, they'll inform you that those questions are actually rooted in a strong faith, and your perspective will shift. At the end of the day, they'll give you big hugs before bedtime, and you may find you enjoy their company on a Friday night more than that of your college friends at the bar. Sometimes. But be patient with them. They're just as confused by your inability to find two socks of the same color as you are by their need to use plates and napkins at every meal for foods that come prepackaged and ready to eat. And you'll get plenty to eat. In fact, you'll eat better than you ever have before in your life. As for the other volunteers, just stop looking at their Facebook pages and freaking out. Well, Johnson's might be pretty on target, but you'll get used to his quirks soon enough. And fear not, you'll eventually find Luke Sullivan's page and discover that he cannot possibly be like the 18 zillion other Luke Sullivans out there. My guess is he sings more than all of them combined. And don't waste your time judging Angela for her Catholic Dodger fan email. Why not? Why not, future Aaron, you ask? The Giants win the World Series, that's why not. You find that you two bond way more over loving California than you bicker over your baseball teams. And the ministry. Sarah's Inn is going to challenge you quite a bit this year. You're not going to believe that you can interview clients in Spanish 1 month in, but you will. Not only that, but you'll start leading a Spanish support group. Halfway through the year, you'll still wonder if you're adequate. And your coworkers will use some psychological, positive self-talk, therapeutic coping technique to assure you that you're doing fine. At some point, you'll hopefully realize that you've been trained as much as anyone else, and that regardless of the situation you're put in, you thinking you're inadequate won't help you or your client. So have some confidence. Try not to be so anxious. 6 months in, you still haven't been successful at dreaming a solution for your clients at 2 a.m. It's going to be tough, though. You're going to talk to people who have experienced cruelty like you wouldn't believe. You'll hear from women whose husbands have tried to kill them, and whose lives have been saved, seemingly by chance or a guardian angel, a neighbor who was running late to work and heard her screams, a child who put himself at risk, tackling his own father to keep him from suffocating his mother. They'll tell you what it's like to see a monster in the mirror after a particularly brutal beating. And they'll tell you that they took him back because he said he would change. Others you encounter will be so psychologically damaged from being told they're worthless, fat, stupid, slutty, and ugly by their partners that they don't need beatings to see a monster in the mirror. Emotional, physical, sexual, economic, psychological abuse, you name it, you'll see it. Your understanding of the cycle of violence will at times blur your perspective on forgiveness. It's not going to be fair, and you're not going to be able to make it fair for everyone. Some days will be emotionally exhausting, but many days you will feel blessed to witness the process of self-empowerment in these survivors and be as part of their support system. Your ability to listen without judgment will be an integral part of their healing process. You'll provide incredibly strong women with tools they can use to keep them and their children safe in the future. And each week, you'll look forward to facilitating your Spanish support group, a once seemingly insurmountable challenge for an introvert, and be inspired by the way that the women strengthen one another. Halfway through the year, I'm sure there will still be plenty of more changes to come. I know I'm right about that one because I'm still anticipating changes 3/4 of the way through the year. Your experiences with both clients and coworkers will force you to reevaluate what it means to do a year of service. You're spoiled to even have the option, to have the ability to plan for a year of making practically nothing. That's a luxury most people your age don't have. And I bet you never thought you'd use the word luxury to describe making $100. Also, I'm sorry to inform you that even with your extreme couponing skills, you've still spent more than $100 every month. And you'll make some calls home apologizing for all of your ungrateful teenage years. However, if you're really well behaved, Santa might get you tickets to see Celine Dion in Vegas. Who knows? You might even get to propose an auction item at the fundraiser that next year's Dominican volunteers sing Celine Dion to a very lucky winner. Enjoy the rest of your year of service. Love, future Erin.